Hello everyone, we're here in DaVinci Resolve 18. We're going to do a 3D cube, six-sided picture, and animate it at the end. We'll start out up in the media pool, right click, go to the new fusion composition. I'm going to leave it at 5 seconds. You can aim it if you'd like. You can make it longer if you'd like as well. And then grab the composition here in the media pool and bring it down to the timeline. Be sure the playhead's over top the composition. And head down to Fusion. Double click over here so no nodes are selected. A little about me before we go any farther. You'll see this on-screen keyboard often. I have to use this due to health reasons. I'll do my best to keep it out of the way. With that said, let's continue. Shift spacebar will bring up your tool menu. Type in cube. That's the one you want, Cube 3D. Over here on the right is where all your 3D tools are. On the bar underneath the viewfinders. Select the 3D camera. Pipe it into the cube. It'll automatically make a merge 3D. Select the merge 3D. Get a renderer. Pipe that into your media out. Select the render 3D node. Enable lighting and shadows. Select the 3D merge. Shift space bar will bring up that toolbox again, the tool menu. Now we want an ambient light. Drag your 3D merge into the left viewer. and you'll see your cube. Let's also select another leg. Make sure your merge is selected. Go over to Spotlight. Okay, let's get things rearranged a little bit. You can use your middle mouse if you don't already know. You can use your middle mouse wheel to navigate through the 3D world in the left viewer. I have to do it differently. You'll see a drop down box. You don't have to do it that way. It's be a lot easier for you with the middle mouse wheel. Button is pushed down. And drag it back. And if you look in the right viewer, you'll see it start to appear. Okay, now let's go to the ambient light. Select it. The ambient light can be anywhere in the scene. It's not directional or anything. We just want to move it up out of the way. Now let's click off on the notepad so no nodes are selected. Let's line up the cube how we're going to want it angled. Select the cube, go up in the inspector on the right, transform. As you see, I'm using rotation, mainly the X and the Z to get this positioned. That should be good right there. Select the ambient light. Let's get some light on it. I'm going to rotate this box a little more. Okay, now let's go to the spotlight. Select that node. And by now you've probably noticed all the lights are within the cube. We have to move them into place. If you see in the right viewer, as you pull on the spotlight, it's going to lighten up that cube more. While that's selected, go up in the inspector to transform. Select Use Target. Now the spotlight is the only light that allows shadows. That's why we got that in the scene. Or else it'll be the same brightness all the way around the cube. And I'll leave that up to you to decide where you're going to put it. I'm going to move it off to the right so it'll hit the right side of the cube more. But we can always play with that later. Okay. While the spotlight is selected, let's open the cone angle a little bit. Let's go back to the inspector under controls. Cone angle. Right around 60 should be fine. Make a little room for some pictures. That's what we're doing here, so we're going to bring them on down. And you'll see it put it on the left side. These colors are on that box for a reason. If you look at the little arrows going in, the 3D cube, they match up according to the cube itself on the screen. I just happen to have the perfect size pictures to fit this cube. If your pictures are not fitting on the cube correctly, you need to adjust them. Let's grab a transform node. And that's just a 2D transform node. With that selected, up in the right in the inspector, now you have all kinds of adjustments you can do. So you may end up with something like that. Need to enlarge it. I'm going to leave that piped in even though I don't need it, just as an example. But as you put your pictures in, you should put the transform in at the same time individually. Just bring all your pictures down and connect them now. Now you'll see there's some weird colors in the cube up there. In the right viewer, both viewers. We'll go to single viewer for a minute. Now go down and select the 3D cube node. Go to the inspector to materials. And you'll see each one of these, every face is a different color. We're going to make them all white. Okay, now we'll adjust the lighting. Let's go to the ambient light. We'll tone it down a little bit. I'll go to the spotlight. Go back to dual viewer. As you see, moving that spotlight around, you can cast your shadow however you decide. I'm going to go with that right there. Let's go back to the Cube 3D node and one viewer. and make it whatever size you choose. And now if we want to animate it, make sure your playhead is at the beginning. Make sure your cube node is selected. Go open the inspector to transform. In the translation, the top two will move it out of the screen. Once out of the screen, we'll set some keyframes. And again, make sure you're at frame 0. Keyframe all 6 of those values. Bring your playhead all the way to the end. In translation, X will move it to the right to bring it into the scene so we know where we're going. Now that we see it, we will know what else to do with these. There's no exact science to what you want to do for animation. Just play with it and to find something you like. And in the end, you want your cube to be in the position where it lands. Okay, and then we'll go up to the Edit tab and see how it looks. Be sure to turn your rendering cache on. Grab a solid color generator and put underneath your clip. Up in the right in the inspector, the default is black. You want to change the color to something else, if your whatever you choose. And if you need more or less light, you can always go back down in Fusion and select whatever light you want to adjust. For shadows, you want to use the spotlight. For overall light, you want to use the ambient light. And if you don't like the animation, just reset it and do it again. To reset it, select your cube and double click on all the X, Y, and Z values. And the keyframes will be gone and start at the beginning again, frame 0. Select the 6 keyframes, take the timeline to the end, and just play around with the adjustments till you find something you like. Well, there you go. That's putting pictures on a cube. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.